What's up, my witches? How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome to live stream readings for the collective. If it's your first time here, know that I do. First of all, test 1 2 1 2 1 2. How does everything sound? Let me know. But I wanted to tell you that if you want to participate in the chat, you do have to be subscribed to the channel, but only for a minute. And we are very welcoming here. I do not do personal readings. I do readings for the collective, but it's common that everyone that stops in and watches goes away with something that speaks to them. So I hope that's the case for you, and welcome everybody. Hold on a second. That's a little better. Oh my God. Okay, let me say hi to everybody. Hey, Darcy, first one in the door tonight. Hello. Hello, Earthlings. Yes, absolutely. Digital snacks and cyber tea. All right. Okay, snacks. Yes, salty snacks are good. I'm not doing grains right now, so I'm glad you didn't bring the snickerdoodles. Tootsie Rolls and pecan tarts. So, of course, you would take up the slack with that. All right. I'm sorry, I need to position my mic a little better. I want to see if sound check went through. Oh, good. Okay. Oh, good. It's going to be another one of those nights, and I am on my meds. All right. Hi, Roxanne. How you doing, sweetie? Oh, my goodness. Hi, Laura. Welcome, darling. So glad to see ya. Hi, Beck. Yay, you're here. I'm so glad. Hi, Maruta. I'm so glad you're here, too. Marcy. Yay. Excellent. I'm so glad you're here. And if you're not checking in on chat, hit the subscribe button, and 1 minute later you can jump into the chat and introduce yourselves. It really does help the energy to, everything to connect and flow and all that. And we're quite a friendly group, so I don't think we've had to bounce anybody yet, have we? No, we have not. So I started getting ready like way ahead of time, and then of course I end up in a mad dash at the very end somehow. I don't know. Time still makes no sense to me. Tavia, yay, you made it. I'm so glad. And I think we have a pretty wicked delay. Maybe we don't. The thing that was wacky was I hit go live and it wasn't on the... I'm not going to explain anymore. All right. Anyway, we're all here. Parmesan chips. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, darling, they would. What do they call those? Wisps? Cheese wisps that are just frickin' crunchy fried cheese. Is there anything better? Okay. Big week. It was last Thursday during our live stream that someone who was watching popped in and said, hey, he just got indicted. So I've been fighting the urge, although, no, hi, baby Joe. I'm so glad to see you, my dear. I think you have plenty of time, absolutely. Okay, wait, I want to share something with you. I have been using the Fyodor Pavlov deck to do yes/no questions and timing questions, where you ask for aces and give time frames and stuff. I'll give you more details on that if you want. I asked if Judge Cannon would recuse herself, and I got probably not. I got I asked, will Cannon ultimately preside over this case, and I got an emphatic no, all aces. Every group had an ace. I asked if Trump would be convicted in this case, and it said probably not, but the first two stacks were just a parade of major arcana. It was incredible. And then, will Trump be convicted in any federal case? And it said probably, and the last card I turned up on the last pile was justice. So we shall see. I also wanted to toot the horn of the deck that I just put up on Monday, the Witch deck. WITCH, that, oh my goodness, this is an intimate and very familiar deck, like right off the rip. I've been doing a couple personal readings and it's just been like, oh, the voice of it, the tone of it is amazing. And last night after I did a more extensive reading, I asked it how it saw me as a priestess. How do you see me? And it gave me the card called the Songstress. So yeah, that was pretty fun because I'm a singer, so you know that was really, really fun. And that talisman deck too, I asked it afterwards how it saw me, and it gave me the courage card with a big lion head on it. I am a Leo. I'm a Leo, August 1st. So those two decks, they're almost exactly the same size. They're both US Games decks. One has gilded gold on the edges, one has black. They look so nice together. Anyway, I have an itch in my nose, sorry. All right, let me see. Let's just, while I'm still settling in, let me catch up with the messages. Cheese skirts on a burger. I'm so glad to see you all. Hi, Ellen Marie. Don't know if I saw it, but you tossed the cowrie shells and came out emphatic yes when I asked. Oh, if he will serve jail time. Good. Right on. All right. Hi, Stephanie. Welcome. Sunstress works too. Yeah, I mean, how does it even know a word sunstress? It's not a word unless it's sun stress. Anyhow, I'm going to turn my drums down just a little bit so I am not tempted to yell. And make sure that I got to do something about the ruts in my carpet. All right, that should take care of that. Now, shall we ground? So let's start with wow. I switched my handedness for a hot second there. Why? I don't know. So if you've got some sage or some cedar or juniper or pure tobacco to offer or any kind of incense that you like, we offer this space where each of us sits and the space between us, that it be purified and charged by air and by fire. And we ask that air bring in inspiration and good communication, and fire bring in passion and vision. And I ask that the space where each of us resides and the space between us be blessed and made whole with water and earth. And may water bring in connection and flow, and earth bring in healing and manifestation. So mote it be. And may the sound of the bell, let's put you right smack in the middle here. May the sound of the bell help us clear our minds, help us bring in spirit, clear all the negativity out of the space within reach of this sound. And let the final bell raise the vibration. Get all nervous when I'm getting ready to strike a bell, so I either strike it too hard or too soft. Autocorrect. Songstress of the sun. There you go. Absolutely. Okay. So let's now get down into the body. Come on down. Bring your awareness down, down, down. Feel feel your skin. Feel all the sensations of your skin, the temperature of the air. Is there any air moving? How does the surface feel that you're sitting or lying on? How do the bottoms of your feet feel? How do the palms of your hands feel? How do your ears feel in the back of your neck? Just spend a moment checking in with your body, looking at each particular part of it, and as you put your attention there, feel that part relax. Feel anything that doesn't belong there being released, feel toxins being released, feel like every cell, wherever you put your attention, the cells can just exhale. And of course, after they exhale, they inhale pure oxygen. So let's do that with them. Let's have a nice exhalation. And when it's all empty, soften your belly, let the air flow in. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Big deep breath. And now just let your exhale flow out and let your breath settle. Let your breath breathe itself. And put your attention to the base of your spine and send down a root into the earth. Down, 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 down into the soft, soft earth. Whatever the temperature is where you are, at some point the earth softens under you. And you feel nutrients being gathered up by that root. Physical nutrients, but also just the nutrients of manifestation, of growing, of the life force, manifestation of living, breathing being. And as those nutrients come into your root, let it rise, rise, rise up and touch the base of your spine. And feel it just immediately spread throughout your body. As it does so, you feel yourself stabilized and steadied, anchored, connected. Feel it rush around your body. Look at the light that it carries. Green light, gold light. Flashing and flowing and spinning all through your body. Earth energy clears out what's not needed. It's weeding the garden of your body and just bringing in good growing energy. All right, now exhale all the way. Deep inhale, pull it up. Fill your body with this incredible healing, growing, manifesting energy. Release only the breath. All the way. Another deep inhale. Release only the breath. Another deep inhale. Exhale through the crown. Send the energy out to arc around you. Get a beautiful egg or sphere of earth energy. And as it arcs around you, you see the green and gold flashing amidst this just clear light around you. Clear white light sparkling with green and gold. Watch it come all the way down, touch the ground, down in and around the root. This is to protect you, shield you, filter your experience. You may observe everything through this, but not absorb. You take in only that which is for your highest good. But all information that you need, you can take in. And then reaching up into the heavens and feeling cosmic energy pour down through your crown, blue and silver. The energy of sky, the energy of moon and stars. the energy of vast, infinite space pouring down into your body. And these silver blue sparks connect with the green gold. And as they do, you feel space open up between all of the cells in your body. You feel space open up within the cells, space between the atoms, space within the atoms, vast and limitless. You can feel space flow through you, air flow through you, and yet you remain whole, seemingly solid, but you are made up of mostly space. And we let the sacred winds move through that space, balancing this illusion of solidness, balancing the density of earth with the absolute non-substance of space. And allow that space energy to go down out at the base of your spine, connect with that sphere or egg, and come up around the outside. So we have green, blue, silver, and gold. It looks like our beautiful planet Earth surrounding each one of us. Exhale now, deep inhale. Push out a layer. Push it out where it immediately connects with the layers of all others who are doing this. Our circles are connected, but our personal spheres filter out anything that does not belong to us in such a way that our energy can flow and we can bring benefit to each other instantaneously. And now, as we're all connected, come down into the heart center. Feel that center open up and green light pour out as we send gratitude to our allies and ancestors, guides and guardians, gods and goddesses. Thank you for being here. Angels and fairies, animals, stones, plant people, fishes, insects, amphibians, birds, mammals, all of them, all our relations. Inhale and a nice exhale. We welcome you here. We offer you fresh water. We offer you the fire of Azrael. And that we bring in to bless our wonderful tools that we're going to use tonight. Are we naming everyone, Sam? I love it. Midnight Cryptworks, hello. Welcome to you. Marcy is the marvelous maven of Mother Earth. Yes, indeed. All right. So our wonderful decks. I'm glad I feel trancier now. I feel much more together. Hold on, I don't need this. I don't need that. Too much light. Right. So our first deck is Behind My Face. Our first deck, wrong way, is Witch in Total Control of Herself, Woman in Total Control of Herself, by Angie Sullins and Silas Tobal. This is a new release in May by US Games. Amazing deck. The next one is El Key by Melanie DeLon and Arwen Lynch Poe. It's also a US Games deck. We're heavy on the US Games tonight, but you know me, they're my favorites. Then we have Tarot Grand Luxe. Wait, I gotta put my boxes down before they go down like dominoes. By Ciro Marchetti. Also US Games. And then, guess what? Another US Games deck. This is the Ancestral Path Tarot. Here's our vintage deck for tonight. And then kind of a left fielder. This is the stack that I rarely go to, and I can't really explain why. Here's a Blue Angel deck, the Fairy Tale Oracle by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And then we finish with a Llewellyn, Barbara Moore and Mika Johnson's The Wizard's Tarot. And they were playing with me tonight because when I was asking Ciro Marchetti's deck, you know, I had a lot more tarot decks I was looking at, and I'll shuffle them and say, just give me one card to tell me about, you know, if you want to come play tonight, I'll open you like a book. And I opened Ciro's like a book, and it was the Ace of Wands. It's like, all right, that sounds good to me. And then I noticed the Wizard's deck, which was already sitting out, had a card that was turned wrong way up, and I looked at it, and it was the Ace of Wands. So, hurrah! Huzzah! Yes, that's where you go. All right, and I will tell you that I am having a terrible time with my right shoulder, so anything you want to send me is great. Hi, Catherine, Silver Spiral. So good to see you here. Coming through here and there. The lunar sprite. How wonderful. All right, the ethereal empath. She's off. The new version of the NC. It's really huge. Wow. That's really interesting, Marcy. I mean, they're an odd shaped deck because they're, you know, nearly square. They're rectangular, but they're, you know, they're fatter. So yeah, interesting. Okay, let's go with the dice. It's gonna take me a little while tonight, you guys. Huzzah! All right, Reiki for all. Reiki for all. Get it moving. All right. Really? The same size as the Voyager. That's something else. That's huge. All right, let's start with the Astro Dice just to see where we're at tonight, huh? We have Venus, which is good because we're on a Taurus moon, and we have Aquarius in the 3rd house. Okay. 3rd house of communications, 3rd house of elementary level learning, house of knowledge, house of acquiring basic knowledge. Venus is the love that we have to give, the affection that we have to give, what we value, what we love, what we like, what we feel attracted to, what we find pleasure in, what we find pleasing. That's Venus, pleasing, beautiful, juicy, soft, abundant. Okay, in Aquarius, this talks about unusual tastes, loving the unusual, loving the rebel. You know, kind of pushing our values out there into the unusual. So what I'm seeing here, Aquarius talks about the new, the innovative, and talking about our new value system that we are learning at a basic level, a new value system. A new way of valuing each person. And of course, what that means is the old value system is going out, which is Capricorn. You know, we've got Pluto dipping back into Capricorn again before it goes out for the 2nd time in January. And so a lot of those old energies, you know, we've been through upheaval in Capricorn. So now it's time to turn our sense of pleasure, our sense of affection and love to the new, the unusual, to the humanity, to all of humanity. Aquarius is humanitarian, right? So talking about valuing all of humanity, and we are in the new learning phases of this. It's like we're in elementary school learning how to do these things. But you know what? I think we're in middle school, actually, because things have changed so quickly. And I think my perception of it is because I'm a social media user. That's where things have changed quickly. But there's still this whole faction of us that don't use computers and social media and are still really steeped in the old. So let's have some praise for technology here, that technology is teaching us some new things. It's taken us back to school and how to communicate in a pleasing way, how to communicate with love, how to communicate our love. Let me see if Tavia's checking in on this. I always love to read what she has to say. The queens are spiraling. Blue lace agate energy. Thank you, Maruta. It is a great word. Okay, so there we have our Astro Dice for tonight. Here we set, we're framing everything for the decks to come. Now, all praise technology. All praise technology as I sit here in my new studio setup. You know, it's so funny because to you guys it's probably exactly the same except for maybe the sound that I have stereo sound back again. but to me, you know, it just looks all new and I love it. So, who is going to be up first tonight? Number 1 now. The Witch Oracle. The W-I-T-C-H Oracle. Like I said, it feels like I'm saying a dirty word. It feels like I have to spell, you know, B-I-T-C-H. And then I hear Xander Harris in my head from Buffy saying Bitka. Anyway, communication in a more caring way. Yep. Well, we're funneling Venus through Aquarius. So yes, communication in, you know, expressing our affection in a new way through technology. Yay. How to communicate with compassion and clarity. Yes. How to listen more clearly. Well, it's just bringing, you know, it really is about starting to confront the unusual with an open heart and with some affection rather than fear. You know that old chant about where there's fear there can be no love, where there's love there can be no fear. Well, let's take a look at that. We have been taught to fear the unusual and the different, but here we begin to love because the differences are in all of us that we already love and we're already familiar with. You know, that's the thing, is we get into that mistake of thinking that we really are different from each other, and we're not. Or we have differences, but our commonalities are much greater than the differences, and we're just learning new ways. Bigger than Voyager. Bigger than Voyager. Ooh. Well, that might be worth having just for the big images. All right. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for your wonderful thoughts there. All right. So let's talk to the Witch Oracle. And I was saying something that I interrupted myself. Oh, when I was asking the decks, oh, here's something I forgot to say in my unboxing. Exactly like the Talisman deck. You notice when I shuffled it face down, it was clumpy. If you shuffle it face up, you get that perfect shuffle. So US Games, if you're listening, when you do these new Oracle decks, and you can feel it, you can feel here there's a little lip that sticks up. There's like an edge, not on this side. But when you shuffle them, sort of using that edge, they shuffle better, which doesn't make any sense to me, but it's true. Anyway, while I was letting the decks decide what order they were going to be in, this deck was the first one that was on my mind, so I knew after I did the unboxing that she was going to be here tonight. And then, since she was the first deck on my mind, I asked her which position she wanted, and I rolled that dice. It was 1. I'm number 1. So we roll again, and she's still number 1. Yes, my dear, you have pride of place. Okay. Let your freak, yes, Darcy, let your freak flag fly. So this is also about, you know, third house talks about childhood, that learning part of childhood, and the neighborhood that was around you, the context that you grew up in. And so it can be talking about showing love to that weird little kid that was you know, your own unusualness, your own rebelliousness when you were of that age. You know, some things might have gotten you the wrong kind of attention, or gotten you laughed at or ridiculed or misunderstood. And so maybe we can use that message to say it's time to really make sure we've reclaimed all those parts of ourselves and shown them affection to that little child. You know, go back in a meditation to that little child that was hurting and give them the love they deserved then, so that part can heal and your freak flag can fly with no holes in it at all. Love can cause fear of loss. I do understand that, but you're not fearing the thing that you love. That's the point. When you love something, you can't fear it at the same time. If you fear it, it's not really love. And I know there's a lot of nuances there. I know it's not an absolute. It really isn't. But it's a good chant to know that, you know, when we're afraid of something, there's a signal, you know, there's a signal. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I do agree, Maruta, there's, you know, it's not that simple at all. Okay. My freak flag fly? Yeah, that's a trick. Oh, you guys. Right, we didn't come here to fit in, we came here to stand out. Mars and Aquarius, okay. Dr. Sue. Speak slower. Okay. All right. Wonderful Witch Oracle. Yeah, I was wondering too, but I wasn't going to ask. Wonderful Witch Oracle, I'm going to open you like a book for 3. We have the Bard of Truth. Huzzah. We have the Rescuer. And we have the Lady of Perpetual Rebirth. Ooh, these are 3 I haven't gotten. And of course, when I've been doing readings for myself, I'm getting the same cards over and over again. So, you know, that to me is validating that when you shuffle, it's like the same damn cards, but there's a reason. Okay, so the Bard of Truth. And I also want to say the poetry. There are several poems throughout the book to kind of, you know, every once in a while there will just be a poem, and they're incredible. They're amazing. All right. Self-deprecation, deep modesty, self-doubt. These are the results of living in fear of judgment, caged in a system that judges women for speaking out and standing true. Our lives are not our own as long as we fear being transparent. Vulnerable. When we allow ourselves to shrink with fear of being judged or shamed for speaking up, standing up, or standing out, there you go, Sam. There you go. From the status quo, we have lost the very essence of what makes us feel most alive, our authenticity. So let's think about the word authenticity for a second. Because I'm thinking of it in terms of Aquarius here and the rebel. I'm thinking that they may go together in some places, that when you're a rebel, it's because you will not dampen down your authentic self in order to conform. You're a nonconformist. So I'm catching the vibe here, but we're talking, you know, come on now. Our authenticity is our practical magic. Our truth is key to our resilience, our radiance, our confidence. It is connected to our grace like the swan and also to our heart's music. And like a sweet melody, it is a prime recovery tool when sad, overwhelmed, anxious, or depressed. It is our greatest asset in maintaining our vibe and attracting our tribe. Without it, we feel cut off from our joy and wonder and our sense of connection. Speak up, speak out, speak true. So, okay, Bard of Truth just talks about saying what you need to say without fear of judgment. Now, of course, being discerning adults, that doesn't mean you have to open your mouth every time. You know, you can be in a place that's not altogether a safe situation to state your truth. But when there's a choice, This is a call to not change who we are, but put our truth out there from our authentic selves. And I love the idea that it's a bard. I love the musical instrument. Too few decks include music. I've never understood why. Music is such a universal phenomenon. It's not a universal language. It's a universal phenomenon, human phenomenon. And decks just don't include it. So here's the Bard of Truth, singing your own song. What is the melody that comes through you? What is the message that Spirit speaks with your voice? And the call is to not water that down, to not filter it, to not dampen it, or, make it conform. Then we have the Rescuer. Is this the last card? I don't think so. Okay. Killer empathy is real. Okay, so she's got this little lamb. And yes, I believe she is the last card. Killer empathy is real. Most women never identify it, let alone unravel its suffocating grasp on their lives. While empathy is a superpower, it is a double-edged sword. It enables you to be considerate of and cooperative with others, but on the other side of empathy is the rescuer, who in her compassion is determined to save those she loves and that which she cares about most. This will lead her to sacrifice her time, energy, and other resources in the name of fixing, saving, solving, helping, and otherwise rescuing those people and situations she feels have great need. This side of empathy cuts deeply into her life force, often resulting in the hemorrhage of her time, vitality, and creativity. A witch, however, knows that her empathy must have boundaries. She helps those who help themselves, jumping in to assist rather than save or fix. She trusts that others have their own guides and their own soul's code to assist their journey just as she does. She's willing to resist the impulse to caretake or rescue, allowing others the opportunity to grow, expand, and develop their own agency. Now is the time to resist the urge to manage another's experience and keep your precious empathic energy in balance. This woman, her writing, she will state something in a way and it's like, that's a new idea. And here it is, the urge to manage another's experience. So, we're not talking, obviously, we're not talking about helping someone who needs help. Someone, in your family. We're not talking about the basic human kindness that we engage in. We are talking about when it becomes boundaryless, when it becomes our job to sacrifice our own happiness in order to save someone else. When we get into a relationship not based on who the person is, but based on this poor stray puppy that I have to pick up, rescue, and then mold into, what I need them to be. So the rescuer here is not a healthy one. It is rescue and care to the point of using up your own life force. And you know what comes on the heels of that? You know what is the red flag that you are helping without boundaries? Resentment. Resentment is the red flag that you're helping where it's not appreciated. It might be needed, but it's not appreciated. And that can let you know where you need to pull back from. Okay. Now, Lady of Perpetual Rebirth. So we have singing our own song, being our authentic selves, pulling our energy back in from where it is just going down the hole. And then death comes for all of us. But this isn't a death card, it's a rebirth card. It's an invitation to clean and clear out what needs to end in order to welcome the new. What ideas or beliefs have become weighty, overwhelming, outdated? What thoughts no longer fit you? What convictions cause exhaustion or illness when you embody them? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's a life's work there. I mean, thinking about ideas becoming weighty and weighing you down and becoming overwhelming. Phew. Our Lady of Perpetual Rebirth is here to usher out the old and midwife the new. Pay special attention to your dreams. There are signs and symbols showing themselves to you right now that will indicate what wants to be loosened and released. The new vision, new awareness, new life that is circling you right now will also send out strong signals. Pay attention, listen, watch, observe. This is time to let go of what no longer serves. A witch can welcome death with the same enthusiasm a moth displays when flying into fire. Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys. All right, story coming. Hold on, let me finish this. She hurls herself towards her own endings, knowing her next beginnings live inside the fire of her passion, the heat of longing calling her forward. Okay, how many, show of hands, how many are throwing this in your shopping cart right now? Oh my God. Okay, story time. It's a story I've told before, but you know. So, welcoming death with the same enthusiasm a moth displays when flying into fire. When I graduated from high school, from a Catholic girls' school, the person we invited to give our commencement address was the Reverend McKeeman, who was at the UU Church. And the UUs. If you don't know who the UUs are, it's just liberals. You know, a lot of UUs are atheists. It's no dogma. It's just about being decent human beings. So he gave this speech, and it was called Take What You Want and Pay For It. And at the very end, he talked about watching a moth beating itself against a light bulb, trying so hard to get in and fry itself. And the very last sentence of the speech was, my hope for you is that sometime in your life, you want something as badly as that moth wanted to fry itself. Whew, man. Okay, let me see here. Let me take a breath and read. Being true to your spirit. Yes, okay, I'm glad you agree, Tavia. I wasn't real sure about that. Get into the moment, go where you want to go, do what you want to do. Yep. Let it shine. Oh. Darcy has swan feathers, and she gifts each of us to honor our true spirit, that we may see our spiritual beauty. Yeah. Okay. And Tavia says, I remember my sister helping her second grader with homework and both being in tears for weeks. And finally she said, Chase, I already did the second grade. It's on you to pass or fail. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And, you know, unfortunately with that, there's so much pressure on second graders to succeed and achieve and think of college. Oh my God. Okay. Huge lessons. Yes, this deck. Okay, Unitarian Maruta, Unitarian Universalism. Okay, it's two. There were two separate churches. There was the Unitarians, and then there were the Universalists, and they went. Now they're two churches in one, and they're just uber liberal, and they have 7 principles that talks about everyone having the right to determine their spirituality for themselves, and the right to explore, and the right to be regarded as human, and it's an amazing thing. The lesson of the moth, Archie and Mehitabel. Oh, I don't know Archie and Mehitabel, but I love the name Mehitabel. I think I knew somebody that had a cat named Mehitabel, and it's a great name. But I am unaware of that story. So yes, it's in order for our authentic self to come through and us to be able to speak our truths, we reclaim our energy from where it is not valued, and we kick out. I loved the idea in the beginning here about releasing thoughts, purging thoughts, getting rid of thoughts. A mind is a very changeable thing. It really is. Sometimes you have to work hard at it. Sometimes it bumps up into your belief systems, and those take longer to go. But it's kind of like when I was a pagan, and I knew I was a pagan and a witch, and I still thought Jesus was going to be really mad at me. But Holy Blood, Holy Grail cured that. All right. Yes, incredible deck. She feels like a dear, dear friend to me. All right, who's up next? No, she wants to go again. Number 2 is so funny because I thought Elke is going to be right after that one, and there she is. All right, darling Elke. Ah, you had one. Yeah. I mean, each congregation, of course, is very different. The congregation in my town in Kent, which is a college town, tend to be, very, very liberal and kind of wacky and free spirits. And, there's a lot of originality. I know some other congregations that are older are just more philosophically open and not quite as, overtly rebellious in dress and dreadlocks and stuff. But they are very welcoming. Mehitabel is a cat. Okay. Oh my God. Thoughts are things and words have power. Absolutely. An old nursery rhyme that starts out with Mehitabel Moss was a terrible boss. Oh my God. This is great. This is so much connection tonight, you guys. All right. Elke, tell us what facets of ourselves she wants to play with somebody else, you guys. Well, we shall see. You're playing with 5 other decks, darling. Okay. Do we need to know 3, please? 3, please. 3, please. Man. There's 1. We're going to go this way. 2. And 3. Okay. All right. So we have Elixir, She Who Forgives, that beautiful face. Remorse, guilt, forgiveness. We have Conchia, She Who Whispers, Secrets, Confessions, Confidant. And we have Iris, She Who Changes. Look at her. Oh, she's one of my favorites in this deck. Transformation, change, and enchantment. So, let's go to the book. Why not? I'll let these authors speak for themselves. Why would I not? Because this is one of the decks that has questions at the end. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. All right, let's look at the questions. So talking about remorse as a catalyst, as a trigger for asking for forgiveness for something that needs to be forgiven. The questions here, if I were to write a letter asking for forgiveness, what would it say? If I would write a letter telling someone I forgive them, what would I say? What do I need to let go of in order to heal? Now, I want to take this into a different, I think I posted it to the channel, but there was a meme that came over that talked about maybe instead of the word forgiveness, we use the word release. So this card is talking about releasing, and we're releasing remorse and guilt for ourselves, right? And for some people that have hurt us, we are releasing them to their karma. So here we go. Sometimes when we are not yet ready to forgive someone that has wronged us, we're waiting for them to have this epiphany. We're waiting for them to change so that they deserve forgiveness. And You know, someone said recently about a relationship that was over is, I just need to hear him tell me, yes, I did this. This is how I hurt you. I did this. And I said, you might need to let that go. You may never hear that. So we cannot hinge our own healing on whether someone else changes or not, whether someone else sees the light of what they've done, whereas whether someone else ever feels remorse or guilt. We cannot hang our own healing on someone else's changing. Can't do it. Can't hang anything on someone else changing. So think about Tavia's sister and their child in 2nd grade. And it's like, I release you to your karma. You have some work to do. That's not my responsibility. It's not up to me to hang in there like grim death until you suddenly see the light, and then we can, all is forgiven. So look at how you can get to a point of release. Ask yourself how you will know when you're ready to release someone to their karma, because you have to be ready. You can't unless you're ready. And then looking at self-forgiveness, and that, that resentment and rage can point up that we are waiting for someone to change, that, they're still that same person they were when they hurt me, and so I can never ever forgive them. But you can release them to their own karma. It's not my job to point you to healing. I did my best. I laid it down. You didn't pick it up. I release you. And along with you, I release any remorse or any looking at our interactions as a mistake. Because think about it. Wait a minute. Think about it. If you, through this experience, learn how to release someone, how to release this toxic lock that you may have, then you've learned something. And when you've learned something, you can release. Okay, Concha, she who whispers. She knows how to keep a secret. Secrets, confessions, and confidant. You won't pry anything from her lips. She's the quintessential vault who holds all the lies and all the truths of the world. Her smoky quartz headdress helps remove negative energy. In fact, it is said to transform it into positive energy. It's her role to hear all the confidences of all who come to her. So she's a confidant. She simply listens. This card reveals that all of us have secrets. It may be a time to release yours now if they've become a burden. So what were we talking about with the last deck? What thoughts have become too weighty? And there's the answer. Do you have secrets? Are you able to release these secrets without letting them out your mouth? Or do you need a witness? Do you need, and this is one of the greatest benefits of therapy, because it is confidential, and you can go there and say whatever you have to say, the guilt that's riding you, things you've done to hurt people, you can let it out and say, I'm going to release you now. If you don't do it in therapy, you can let it out onto a piece of paper and burn it. For me, it was things that, significant times in my life before I have kids that I chose to share with my children, just so they knew their mother better. I can't imagine anything more awful than me dying and my kids saying we never really knew her. That's just fail to me. That's mega fail. So maybe those secrets and confessions are weighing you down and they need to come out somewhere. They need to be released. And then here's Iris, transformation, change, and enchantment. So that is what can release us. This remorse, guilt that we're holding on, that we need to let go so things can shift, and that perpetual lady of perpetual rebirth can bring it in. We let the secrets go so that we can change. She wears a waxing moon on her forehead and a curving snake on her arm, both emblems of change and transformation. And we know why they are. Iris brings the message that you are in a moment of change. You can choose to move into a new self or pull back on the self you were before. There's nothing static about this issue. Do not put too much weight on things as they are. Take a step back. Remind yourself of the moon cycles and the turning of the seasons. If you remember all things change, you'll find yourself prepared to adapt to the ever-cycling world. I mean, I'm like, wait a minute here. Bard of Truth is she who forgives, Lady of Perpetual Rebirth, and the Rescuer. I'd say these two played together quite well. You know, Lady of Perpetual Rebirth and Iris, change. The secret is how we've been rescuers to other people and not to ourselves, perhaps. And the forgiveness is all about speaking our truth. Whether the other party hears it or not, I need to tell you the impact of what you did had on me. And then release them to their karma. Whoa, baby. This, yeah, okay. Okay. Until we evil and release them, evolve. Gremlins are strong tonight, yes. Remove the word I'll. Okay, wait a minute. But we'll still be seen as the old person until we also evolve and release them. All right, I got to go back farther. Wow, I got to go back way far. English Struel Peter? Oh my goodness, things I've never heard of before. Daughter of a Lutheran minister. Oh my God. Paintings of the children and animals with big eyes, popular back in the 60s and 70s. Okay, well, they're coming back, so hang on. They can change, still be seen as the old person until we evolve and release them. Yes, absolutely. It's releasing our locked in perception of them. So when we change our minds, what are we changing? We're changing our perception of things. We're changing it how we look at things. We're reframing things. This is NLP at its basic. Reframing. How can I look at that in a different way? That's a wonderful thing about Tarot and Oracle decks is they force us to, when we have a very specific question, they force us to reframe how we're thinking about it. What if I consider it this way, you know? Okay, go play over in the corner. Oh my goodness. Yes, they are Dave. Yes, they are Dave. Yes, Tavia. You guys are killing me. So fun. We'll never see them as a changed person until we evolve. Absolutely, Tavia. Plant Witch, welcome. Affecting your blood pressure and medical issues. Well, listen to the readings we have here tonight. I'm sure that you will pick up something. These are readings for the collective. I don't do any individual issues, but we talk about issues that are common to all of us. So thanks for checking in, Plant Witch. You are certainly welcome here, and just, you know, listen and see what comes through for you. Step up your shielding practice, Plant Witch. Well, what was that, the Rescuer? Were you here for the last deck, Plant Witch, the WITCH deck, talking about the Rescuer in the middle? And I do understand about anxiety. Have you been, you have obviously been to a doctor because you have blood pressure and medical issues. Okay. I was the one that gave myself anxiety. Talk about it. Do you have a therapist? Write it down. Burn it. Say it out loud to somebody else. Yes, being still. Meditation practice. Wonderful, Maruda. Yes. Thank you. See what a great community we are. Thank you so much, you guys. Yes, Maruda. Big applause there. Talking about the vagal nerve, that when our vagus nerve freaks out, you know, it can be hard to get it back together. But yes, the counted breath can do wonders. One other thing, I know with panic attacks, one thing that could smack you right out of that is ice water on the face, ice water on the back of the neck. It just kind of shocks things into a different place. All right, let's see who's up next. And thank you everyone here for checking in and helping the way you do, because you're awesome. Here's number 3. What do you know? Okay. Here is Ciro Marchetti and the Grand Luxe. I love his decks. I love the fact that they have black borders around them, so when you edge them, they look absolutely beautiful. I'm going to shuffle this one face up. Oh, I'm having such a hard time handling this deck tonight. Okay, that's all that wants to do. Yeah, Latina Dina dies. Okay. And grounding too. So if you came in later, Plant Witch, please afterwards go back and listen to the grounding that we do at the beginning. And one of the things that you can do when you do that grounding visualization is when you put the root down into the earth, first of all, just imagine everything draining that you don't need, that doesn't serve you, anything excess. You can, think of it like when you pull the plug in a tub and you watch things just drain. The gravity of the earth can pull out all the things that you do not need for your highest well-being. All right. I'm also getting an image of if you have an altar, which, you're a plant witch, I'm sure you at least have a garden. And if you have a sacred space, like in your garden, to write down the things that are making you anxious, very truthfully, and then say, I'm going to put these in a safe space so they don't have to be in my head anymore. They will be there if I ever need to go back to them, but I'm putting them in a safe space and in a box, in a container, something like that. Maybe even put that container in the earth, just so that your subconscious mind knows that those are important thoughts, but they're contained now. They're someplace else. And then if you ever get to the place where that you really feel that issue has departed, then burn it. Okay. Yeah, I've found that with those 2 decks, with the Talisman and the, oh, look at where I messed up when I was edging these. The Talisman deck and the Witch deck, I've found, shuffling them face up, and now it's like when I'm having trouble, turn them face up and see what happens. Oh, here we go. All right. We have the 2 of Coins. The word that I get is dithering. Dithering, balancing, juggling, thinking, weighing. What do we need to do? What am I weighing? The Queen of Wands, the 9 of Swords. Okay. Put you over here for a mo. How? You guys know I don't shuffle reverses in. We have the Devil reversed. All right, I think we might be getting topical for a second here. So we have the 2 of Coins that flew out for us, talking about things going, which way is it going to go? Which way? And this in particular is talking about which way are our resources going to go? Which way? What am I going to spend money on? Where's it going to go? Am I going to have enough? What's my next step? What's the plan, Queen of Wands on one side talks about warmth, passion, creativity, internally feeling that, coming from that internal place of being connected to your passions. So there's that moth trying to fry himself there. On the other side here, we have the 9 of Swords. So there's the anxiety. There's the stuff that comes up and gets us in the middle of the night. 2 of Coins is looking over this way, so it could be that juggling of resources is what is keeping the anxiety going here. But Queen of Wands knows better. She says, I'm too smart, I have too many friends, I'm too connected to ever be out on the street naked and starving. Not the street, the gutter. You know, it's in the gutter. Okay. Then we have the devil reversed. How fun is that? Okay, so detachment here. The devil reversed is talking about being able to let go, detaching from the things that have their hooks in us. And temperance is bringing things back into balance. So coming from this, everything is going to shit, it's all bad, you know, fear in the middle of the night. Temperance says we can weather this as well. Temperance is a very Aquarian card to me, because it's being able to assimilate and being able to think new thoughts in the way that we can look at past lessons and reframe and see them in a new light and assimilate that lesson in. And then we've got justice down here. I want to take a hit on that queen. And we get the Page of Cups. And let's take another one and we get the Page of Swords. Keep going until we don't have, and then we get the Star. Okay, people, people, people. Good friend, meditation. Page of Cups talks about meditation. The Page of Swords talks about keen insight, bringing the truth. And all of these things, when we tap into our passion, our heat inside, the thing, the furnace that runs the show here, and we do some a deep dive into things emotionally, we get ourselves calm, we look into our emotional climate, and then we bring that clear, discerning thought, the light of truth, then hope comes again to stave off the Nine of Swords over here. But what have we been talking about in those first two spreads? It was talking about release and letting go. Letting go of thoughts that weigh us down, letting go of guilt, remorse. And that's what the devil upside down is saying. And so when we are able to release the things that are coming to get us at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we are able to take the lead on looking back at past issues, past traumas, things that anxiety, might have caused us a lot of anxiety. When we allow ourselves to look and bring a new view, what would I be thinking if this happened to someone else? What would I do if this happened to me now rather than then? How has this changed me as a person in the positive ways? Then things can be justified. Things come back into balance. We've got 2 cards of balance here and assimilation. But justice ultimately talks about what's right. And I want to see, Chiro doesn't generally have really great books in my experience, but The Ultimate Tempter. And, wait a minute. I just want to see if they have reverse meanings here. So we're talking about the things that keep you under control, the things that keep you captive, things that keep you in bondage. He calls him the ultimate tempter. But look at this. He's upside down. And look at this temperance card. I'm free, 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 free. So the things that roped you in the past, we're talking about healing issues so that we don't have those raw sore spots that leave us vulnerable to somebody coming in, and getting their hooks in us. I'm going to read messages here. Gilded Reveille. Okay. Four of them, including the Kipper. I have the Kipper and the Lenormand. Garnet, Howlite, Lepidolite. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, everybody. Plant them and ask for solutions to grow. That's excellent, Samantha. Tarot Grown Luke's Legacy of the Divine. I have that one too. I don't have the Marchetti Tarot or the Tarot of Dreams, but I have his Kipper and his Lenormand, so I've got 4 of them too. 2 Tarot and the Lenormand, yeah? Mystic Palette. I've never heard of that one. Wow. Queen of Wands can also be follow your purpose, trust your instinct. Two of Coins, these aren't your only options. There are more options than you may see at the moment. Absolutely. But that, you know, the fact that he's looking here, it's a decision, at least a decision that's causing anxiety. Lustrous Lenormand. It's the, yeah, whatever that's called. Oh. Gilded Reverie Lenormand. That's the one. It is lovely. A trio, Devil, Inverted, Temperance, and Justice. Yes, indeed, it really is. It really is. It's saying that we can break free of the past by looking at it differently, by just taking a different viewpoint. Absolutely. But we've got some skills to master here. We've got to really, the skill of standing up, being courageous, you know, she's coming where those other two cards came, and the skill of meditation and being very truthful with ourselves, and the skill of generating hope through how we tap into emotions, how we speak to ourselves. That's how we generate hope. Because here's a line of creation here. Okay, wow, interesting. Interesting. And the Fin de Siècle Kipper is the other Ciro Marchetti. Sag Sun, Jupiter Libra. Yes, I agree. Aesthetic appeal is important. Ah, okay. Your Sun ruler in Libra. Yep. Tarot of Dreams has a great book, but he didn't write it. Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, my camera's doing the bumpy thing. Sorry. Stop it. It has a hard time with the wood. And I put this on here so it wouldn't do that because of my fabric. Anyway, also the Legacy of the Divine book he didn't write. He had several writers in it, and it makes it really disjointed to me. Okay, Sag and Libra, positive and fair. Yep. All right, now, onward. Who's up next? No, we've already done 3. Number 6. I was hoping, I keep hoping that sometime we'll get them like right in a row, you know? How interesting. This card sort of floated off the top. The 4 of Wands, okay. We shall see. Mystic Palette. Oh, okay. I'll have to look that one up. Oh, great shuffle. As you can see, I have edged this deck. It's an interesting deck because the faces, the palette on the face is so, you know, deep, rich colors, and then you go to the back and it's like, ba-ba, fire. One more riffle. Now let's see if my charcoal is still going. Why no, it is not. I might have to light another one. All right. Okay, wizards, wizards, wizards. Oh, Spirit of Merlin. Spirit of the great alchemists, the great thinkers, the great Aquarian minds of our time. What do you have to tell us tonight? What do you have to tell us tonight? I would like to take them off the top, please. What do you have to tell us tonight? Where's the first one? 2 of Pentacles. Okay, 2 of Pentacles jumpers in a row. We have the Queen of Swords and the 6 of Cups. 8 of Pentacles. Queen of Wands. And the bottom is the Lovers. Well, how interesting is this, you guys? Such consistency. Thank you. I'm sorry, I've just started having a stomach ache. All right. So here we have again, but look at this 2 of Pentacles. She is floating on a lily pad, and she's got 2 balls of light. So how is she coping with this juggling of resources or this decision that needs to be made. She is going into meditation. She's tapping into the infinite. And, one of the things she could be doing is imagining each of the options that she sees before her, stepping into that option and seeing how it makes her feel. Does it make your chest open up and your breath free? Does it make you kind of crunch in on your diaphragm? Does it make you feel shrinky? What does it do? How does it make you feel? The Queen of Swords in the center is the ultimate in discernment. She certainly has her emotions, but she does not let them run the show. She has crystal clarity about her thinking. And then we have the Six of Cups. We've got, it is still, okay. We have the Six of Cups. We have memories, sharing of memories, teaching, the passing down of information, legacy. All right. We have the Eight of Pentacles here, apprenticeship. And the Queen of Wands here. Okay. So we need to get our hands on the tools and get this creative spirit of ours really generating. When we were talking about the Lady of Death, perpetual death and rebirth, or what was she? Perpetual rebirth. Pardon me. The thing waiting to be reborn, we have to create. We need to create it. So we can't just focus on, I need to get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. We also need to start imagining what it is that takes its place. One of the scariest points in deep transformation can be when we feel the old leaving. When we've dealt with things and we feel this detaching from us, it's not part of me anymore. There's the devil reversed. It's not part of me anymore. It's detaching and it's moving away, but I don't know what's left here yet. We can feel like there's a void because we haven't experienced ourselves without this before. And so the challenge is to be in that void, to be in that uncertainty. And trust, Queen of Wands is a card of trust. Trust that our real self is there, waiting to be discovered. And you don't have to know it right away. So that can cause a lot of anxiety. I don't know what's coming next. It's kind of like, think about it there. And it's, rightful anxiety. Like if you lose a job or that you're in a job and it's like, oh my God, this is the worst ever. I can't stand it anymore. I'm crying over the weekend when I'm thinking about going back on Monday. And I don't know what to do. Story time. When I worked for the College of Medicine, I only worked there for a little over a year. Maybe about a year and a half, not quite a year and a half. And oh my God, the job was so far up my ass. The job gave me my choice of 3 universities to go to school with free tuition. And I couldn't do it because the job was so stressful. I had nothing left over. And towards the end, that's what was happening. I was going home and crying over the weekends when I thought about going back. And, the people were, but the department was so dysfunctional. The people in the department were so dysfunctional that I used to send out memos on our monthly meeting on Friday, and I would say it's time for Friday morning at the fights, because they literally threw things at each other. So one day I left the job to go to lunch, and I went to the local witch store, the Rowanwood Tree, which people thought was the Rolling Witchery. Anyway, I went there and I was bitching and bitching and bitching and bitching and bitching. And one of my granny witches, Nimue, may your name be for a blessing, Nimue, said, why don't you quit? And I said, I can't quit. I live by myself. I owe rent. I have a car payment. I have all these things. I'm, self-responsible. I can't quit. And she said, Luna, sometimes you just have to jump and trust. So I called into work and I said, hey, I got a headache over lunch. I'm not coming back in. And I spent the weekend thinking about things, and I went in on Monday and quit. And after that, the universe lined up to take care of me. I won't give you those details, but everything was fine. I continued living on my own and paying my bills. And, my father stepped in to help. And first time in my life, it was all okay. It was all okay. So sometimes you have to jump and trust. And I think that's what's happening here. We can look into things with a really discerning, logical mind. And then as we're making decisions, and we can go back and go, how did this work out in the past? We recall memories. How did it work in the past? But ultimately, we need to engage our passion and free ourselves and be willing to experience that trust. You can't really, okay, so trust is like a muscle. And if you trust nothing, you need to start exercising that trust muscle and practice trusting the universe, practice trusting things. So here's a way that, we've been talking about changing our minds tonight. And you can change the paradigm of the world is an evil place and nobody is to be trusted to the paradigm of it's a beneficial place. Because when you step into that mindset of trust, that's what you get. That's what you see. Whatever frame you have in your mind, here comes NLP, whatever frame you have in your mind, i.e. either the world is a dangerous place and people are out to get me, or the universe is benevolent and I can trust that I'll be taken care of. Each of those paradigms is your frame that you look through. And that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to recognize out there. So we are still talking about paradigm change. And Eight of Pentacles says we got to practice it. We got to practice trusting. We have to practice creating this on a very practical level too. Literally creating things. What do you make? What do you pour your joy into? That's like here. Is it food that you make for people? Is it in the ear, just your wonderful home that people can come and sit down and you listen to them? But what is it that you create from your wonderful passion? And the Lovers here says that when you do that, it's very attractive. You attract to you the things that you need. I'm going to look at the Queen of Swords here. We got Seven of Pentacles. So discerning, but too many options. So there we go, Samantha. There's that Two of Pentacles. And here we have too many options to the point where we're wool gathering and going back into memory. And, so we need to come into the present, get our hands on the tools, practice funneling our passion, and also practice what happens if I trust. And the thing is, you can't fake it. You gotta actually trust. It's kind of like when I'm going someplace and I'm looking for my perfect parking space. If I'm in a bad frame of mind and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not gonna, it doesn't show up. But if I can drop into that slot of how I feel when miracles show up, I know my perfect parking. Show it to me. Here it is, and there it is. And it's this calm. It's a calm feeling, not like, oh, here it is. Is it gonna be? It's just like I know it's gonna be there. That's trust. It's very calm and open. And the Lovers card just says, then we really attract everything to us. Look at the pentacles everywhere. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Thank you. The etching in orange and yellow. Yeah, you mean, Maruda, you mean a good sequence with the decks? It really is. On your wish list, yes. Some memories to clarify in order to balance our material world. Ooh, that's really interesting. So here's the memories, and this is the clarification of them to bring things into balance. Okay. We all need to remember who we truly are. Remember, yes? Remember as opposed to dismember. That deck, you trust on it. Yep. A leap of faith in ourselves, absolutely. Okay, Tavia. I was accused at one time of living in white privilege because I didn't believe anything bad was going to happen to me. It was really, yeah. Wow, I get that, Tavia. And everything in that statement is valid. So many conflicting things can all be valid. And yes, I mean, that's a weighty subject. So we're not going to go into it tonight, but you can have a lot of guilt. You can have a lot of guilt and remorse to wrestle through in order to be able to fully trust. What right do I have to be so sure everything's going to work out okay for me? You know? Well, you have the right of a human being on this earth, you know? That's what I have to say about that. But yeah, I do understand that, Tavia. So complex. The issues that we have are so complex, and they always have been. They just move so much faster now. Okay, we have 4 and 5 left. We have an oracle and a tarot. No, we've had you already. No, we've had you 2. Yes, number 4. All right. So we just had 1 non sequitur. All righty. Give kisses to this one. This was one of my earlier decks. And oh, I loved it. This was part of the Tarot of the Ages. Barbara Walker Tarot was in this era. You'd think that them being so wide as well as short, you know, they may be short, but they sure are wide. Actually, that's funny. I had a friend whose husband used to say about his penis, it may be skinny, but it sure is short. So, goddess bless those with a sense of humor. All right. I was saying something. Oh, they shuffle nicely for being the shape they are. That's what I was saying. That was the point. 9 of staves. 6 of sacred circles. So the sacred circles are the pentacles. And oh, I love this wood because I made sure that I got it straight. And I can line my cards up. Yay! Okay, 6 of sacred circles. King of swords. We have the Queen of staves. Every tarot deck has given us the Queen of Wands, so we need to spend some time with her. And there's the Star again. And the Prince of Swords. The King of Swords. We've had the King, Queen, and Prince of Swords. And the Page. We've had all of the Swords court. All right. 6 of sacred circles. So, I'm going to go to the book. It's been a while since I've pulled this deck out. Okay. Reciprocation, sharing prosperity with those who helped you become prosperous, the giving or receiving of a gift. So these are pretty standard. Passing on of wealth in the Native American custom of the potlatch. So this is about giving and receiving. It can be, you know, just money being exchanged, but we deal with more spiritual things here most of the time. So let's just look at take what you want and pay for it. I'm going back to that speech. Take what you want and pay for it. 9 of staves talks about something, oh, I just heard being broken in battle, wounded in battle, yes, as the standard, but something broken, trying to build and something breaks. All right, hold on. And there's the motherfucker, the King of Swords. All right. Queen, let's look up Queen of Staves. I'm going to look up Queen of Staves in each of these decks because she has certainly made her presence known. Okay, so she is Isis in this deck, the perfect blend of body, emotions, and intellect in a spiritual venture. The world of magic and mysticism brought to the practical level, i.e. anything applying magical principles in the real world for a tangible result. Why else would you do it? A committed woman of will, strength, and determination. A risk taker for personal concerns. She may show a curious lack of interest in other issues. Okay, so someone who is willing to take a risk. Let's see what Chiro says. Okay, Marcy, I can see that. She says all sword courts mean that our minds need to work a lot in all the aspects the mind can be used. Communication, words of action, receptive to messages and order in the thoughts. Yes. King of Swords has always had that rigidity, mental rigidity and judgment vibe for me. Okay. The Queen of Wands. In the Grand Luxe says, the self-assured queen radiates with energy and warmth. Her dragon serves not only as ornamentation, but they reflect her enthusiasm and vibrancy. Her dragons. She can handle any situation with grace. So there's courage, there's grace, there's the ability to step up. Then we have, are these all the queens together? Yes. Queen of Wands. Nurturer, observant, insightful, mature, experienced, willful, ego, passion, instinctual, and action-oriented. So she's, Wands being fire. She is that flowing passion and creativity, strong and confident, powerful queen. Boldness has served her well, energetic, charismatic, fond of attention. Wands are often leaders. All of those things. And then we have the star, hope for the future, inspiration. The star is the significator card for healers and artists, those who have that flow of energy coming through them. And then the Prince of Swords down here. Let's see what they say about him. Okay, the Prince is Tsukiyomi. No, that's the Knight. I'm confused. Now I'm really confused. Princess of Swords. This says Prince of Swords. This says Princess. And this says the Knight, the Queen, and the King. This has to be the Knight. I gotta check this out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I must. Princess. Okay, there's the Princess of Swords. That's gotta be the Knight. Yep. He's the Knight. We've got all the other ones. All right. But the thing is, oh no, never mind. Tsukiyomi. Tsuki means moon. Disciplining emotions, meditative practices that strengthen mind and body, fertilizing a masculine domain with feminine waters. Quiet before a storm, the science of warfare, forging a sword that is a resourceful tool as well as a destructive weapon. Okay, practices that strengthen mind and body. So there you go, Marcy, talking about the mind, strengthening the mind, clarity of thought. And the King of Swords is Izanagi, so he's a god. Izanami is the goddess. Creative skill, intellectual prowess, using the sword as a tool rather than a weapon, emerging from chaos or confusion with a plan of action. Action following thinking and planning. Okay, so yes, the strength of mind here. But we are reminded that ultimately, strength of mind is a practice. We can very easily fall into sort of weak-minded habits. We know a whole bunch of people that have fallen into weak-minded patterns. What does that look like? I let somebody else do my thinking for me. I don't form my own opinions. I don't take time to wrestle with ideas to decide, come up with what I do believe about them, right? I'm still kind of struggling up here. Help me out. The top line here. 9 of Staves, 6 of Sacred Circles, King of Swords. This deck, interestingly, is feeling very unfamiliar to me right now. All right, I want to... Building trust after it's been broken. Here we go, the 9 of Staves. Is that what we're talking about? Hey, that makes sense. Communication, words of action. So this is strong-mindedness and looking at giving and receiving. All right, wait a minute. Let's go a little farther, huh? Oh, whoopsie. You know, I kind of looked to see if that card was there before I shuffled, and it wasn't. So, and then we have the King of Cups. And then Seven of Sacred Circles. Sixes and sevens all over the place. The 6 and 7 of Sacred Circles. The 9 and 7 of Staves. All right, let me see what you guys have to say. You want to change your life? You start by changing your mind. What do they say? Free your mind and your ass will follow. The mind is the builder. That's what Edgar Casey said. Compassion is not namby-pamby. Compassion can be strong and fierce. Absolutely, Samantha. Yes, so that Queen of Wands is fierce compassion. There's that aspect of Tara that is called ferocious compassion. The higher octave of that king is mastery. Yes, mastery of thought and communication. Yes, indeed. And these, these meanings are from my reading for people, reading for clients, and reading things on a really practical level. So the star with the universe connections, the stars over her could help us on that task. The star also represents the web, cyberspace, communication. That's really interesting, Marcy. I like that a lot. Yes. Yes, the princess is usually the page there. Depends on the deck. Some out there reverse princess and prince, but this one says princess, prince. Although they call it knight in the book. Princess, prince, queen, king. Okay, so let's look here again. The 7 of Wands, standing your ground. The 9 of Staves, really, staying with yourself regardless of what's been broken. To have clarity of thought. Here we go again, like that Page of Cups and the Page of Swords. Here's the king now. Real clarity of thought, based in knowledge, based in experience. So the Page of Swords is about kind of looking after the truth at the most basic level. The King of Swords is that mental discernment through experience, through learning, through exploring, through deep thinking. And King of Cups says, I feel every one of my emotions down to my toes, but they don't run the show. And the 6 of Sacred Circles talks about just keeping the give and take. The give and take. They're still not congealing for me, you guys. Look at the moon and the star. And the 7 of Sacred Circles. This is talking about harvest and abundance. Okay, so here we have the potlatch and resources. We were talking about the juggling of resources with the 2 of Pentacles a couple of times. And we look at the harvest. So when we learn to trust through the Queen of Swords here, and the moon too, it's easier to trust when we are really connected with our own empathy and connected so we can feel the vibe that's going on around us. And then that gives us hope in, having our needs met, having our basic needs met. Even though we're broken, we have something to give. We can still stand our ground, protect ourselves. We have something to give. We are at the peak of our knowledge and the peak of our emotional mastery. We have deep feelings and creativity. We can feel trust deeply, deeply down into our soul. And what do we trust? That we will be provided for. But we have to practice that trust. We got to put it into practice so it shows itself to us. And it's not a challenge. Hey, prove this to me. I don't believe it. You have to believe it before you see it, You'll see it when you believe it. I've always turned that phrase around. Instead of, I'll believe it when I see it. No, you'll see it when you believe it. That Wayne Dyer had a book called that. Okay. Keep order in the emotions with the King of Cups. No, not only the mind. Yep. Sit with your emotions, not dwell in them. Determine in the first place different mood. Okay, and I want to say something too. There was the 6 of Cups with memory. We can get lost in memory. We can get pulled back into memories emotionally. And so, being able to see clearly and not get sucked back in. The moon is also talking about emotions, yes. We've finished our bachelor's degree in life. Now we're moving on to master's level. You got it. I think, you know, those of us that are crones, I think we've already done like our master's degree. We're working on the doctorate now. And then our last one is Lucy. What was that about those big eyes, Samantha? Oh yes, I forgot that I edged this deck. My gosh, I don't know why I don't ever reach for Lucy decks, but I don't. So I apologize to you. I apologize to you, sweet, sweet deck. Now, these are so hard to shuffle because they're really big. But fortunately, they're not stiff. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle. And then I am going to open like a book and choose 3. Open like a book and choose 3. So very interesting that the Ancestral Path deck, I did not feel the connection with it tonight. Open like a book. Okay. All right, well. We have the red shoes. We have fairies. And we have the wild swans. Obsession. Words, dedication. Okay, I think we'll be going beyond 3 with this one. All right, so the red shoes is a tale about someone that puts them on and she cannot stop dancing. I don't know, I only know the tale through Kate Bush, so I don't know like the whole tale. All right, she danced and she was forced to dance through the gloomy night. The shoes carried her over stack and stone. She was torn till she bled. She danced over the heath till she came to a little house. Here, she knew, dwelt the executioner, and she tapped with her fingers at the window and said, come out, I cannot come in, for I am forced to dance. And the executioner said, thou dost not know who I am, I fancy. I strike bad people's heads off, and I hear that my axe rings. Don't strike my head off, said Karen, then I can't repent of my sins, but strike off my feet in the red shoes. Oh my goodness, so this is a Hans Christian Andersen tale. They uses the symbol of red shoes in more than one fairy tale, and they symbolize, when given up gladly for friendship and love, a sacrifice because they're so valued and treasured. But in this tale, a trickster, the devil, almost in his guise, as he appears in the traditional tarot, offers a young girl red shoes. She covets them and misunderstands what they are because her greed for them is all-encompassing, and she accepts them. So there's that other meaning of the devil as obsession. Okay, she wears them. Let's see, from the first lesson. When we receive this card is to know when to say no to an offer we find hard to resist. Ooh, for me, that's a red flag. If there's something being, and it's usually something being sold, somebody's, sales pitch. Pisces moon, trined by Neptune in the 12th house, Neptune squaring my sun, I can be hoodwinked. And when I'm listening to a sales pitch and I get that, I have to do it. I get that FOMO, when it hits me hard, it's a red flag and I have to go, wait, hold up. And I've learned, like, going to sites where they're doing this great sales pitch, every time I have to spin the wheel to scroll down the page, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. With every spin of that wheel, it gets more expensive and I'm more likely to bail out. So, yes, when to say no to a gift that looks like it's too good to be true, or that we just covet so badly and we can't resist. All right, this is the same with all compulsions, addictions, and her desire for the shoes overrides everything. Just as addicts steal from those they once loved, the craving overwhelms all love. It becomes the reason for living, and it can kill us. The only solution for the girl is to beg for the woodcutter to chop off her feet, a horrible, horrible option. But she begs for him to release her from the shoes, which will not come off otherwise. So she sacrifices her feet and begins again. Broken and crippled, and yet she goes on, and life begins again, and she creates a life where she has learned and suffered and changed, but which now is within her own control. I think we have that last spread explained there. This card asks you to consider a radical, strong solution to a difficult problem. Meaning, obsession, need, slave, curse. What started out as a pleasure has become an addiction. There's an unhealthy attachment in your life. Take steps to free yourself from your own compulsion. Seek help and support in gaining control. Reassert yourself as the sovereign of your own life. Take back your power. So that word sovereign has come up a lot too. All right, then we have fairies. So we're dealing with how to let go of things that are deeply attached. Fairies says words, brute force or bribes of diamonds, bend others to your will, but gentle words have greater power and gain more conquests still. So fairies is talking about the words that we speak. When the princess in this fairy tale speaks, jewels fall from her lips. Sweetness that we can, so that Venus in the third house that we had, that they all went the other way now. That Venus in the third house is sweet communication. Communicating in a sweet, kind, loving way. And the Aquarius in there says, and this is a new thing. So it's innovative to speak kindly when maybe we don't want to. And I have found in the last few years, as I've really healed my core issues from childhood, my defensiveness is going away, and I'm able to be much kinder, and I'm much more aware of how my voice sounds when it's coming out of my mouth. Because, ooh man, I've spent most of my life meaner than a snake. Scorpio rising, prominent Pluto, Pluto conjuncting Mercury. I can just be mean, and a lot of times I don't mean to. It's just the way it comes out. So I'm learning to listen to my own voice, and the fairies here is saying, listen to your own voice. Listen to the words you're using. Are they going to turn those away who you're trying to communicate with or you're trying to persuade, or are they going to attract? Words have power to change lives. Speak words of kindness, you will be rewarded. Be charitable to all. Do good deeds often with no thought of reward. And I'm taken back to that rescuer card, not beyond your boundaries, not to the resentment point. Do not seek to enrich yourself. Imitation is not the way to success. When we speak with beauty and kindness, all are enriched. Some may need assistance. And the story is by Charles Perrault. So, I'm not going to read the whole fairy tale, but we're talking about how we communicate. And not just the words we say, but the music of what we're saying. Is it heavy metal power chords? Or is it a melody that can calm someone and make them want to listen to what we have to say? The Wild Swans is dedication. All the people came flocking out at the town gate, for they wanted to see the witch burned. An old horse drew the cart on which she sat. They had put upon her a garment of coarse sackcloth. Her lovely hair hung loose about her beautiful head. Her cheeks were as pale as death, and her lips moved silently, while her fingers were engaged with the green flax. Even on the way to death, she did not interrupt the work she had begun. The 10 shirts of mail lay at her feet, and she wrought at the 11th. Even on the way to death, she did not interrupt the work she had begun. One of the things that we, like the fallacious, the false thoughts that we fall prey to, is that there's this time of life that's our prime, and that's where we have to succeed, and that's where we have to accomplish all our stuff. And if we don't have it accomplished by the time we hit our 60s, too late, time to retire. No. Whenever you start is the perfect time to start. Even when you think, okay, I'm in my last part of my life, what does it matter now? I'll just kind of kick back, and you can kick back, that's fine. But if you're retired from the drudge and the work to make money, why not spend the rest of the time you have working at your craft, working at the things that are the product of the gifts you've come in with? Okay, the fairy who came out to meet her was fair and shining, yet she closely resembled the old woman who gave her the berries in the forest and told her of the swans who wore golden crowns on their heads. Okay, I need to read this whole book because these are just, fragments of fairy tales. And I'm not going to read those full fairy tales. So the meaning here: tenacity and dedication work magic. Working through pain to create results. Single-minded passion, misunderstood dedication, silently working without explanation for a time, working without the approval of others. Okay, this is the message of this card: to know that when we see people who are ferociously dedicated to a task or a mission, their single-mindedness may seem madness, and in some ways it is. But if this energy is put to a great purpose, it can bring about great healing and change. The message could be that you must allow this and not judge this, and the message could also be that your own dedication may be perceived as madness, and even create hostility within the hearts of others. But it will result in healing, creativity, and great breakthroughs, just as Elisa's work, painful and bizarre as it seemed, saved her brothers from their enchantment. Okay. Ungrounded. Ooh. Understanding. Obsession and words. Ungrounded. Maybe I don't want to take all the rest of these taboos. Well, taboos. There's the Aquarius up there. In order to break taboos. And that goes back to the very first card I laid out, which was talking about telling your truth. The Bard. Telling your truth. And so in order to tell our truths, we have to kind of fly against some of our culture's taboos. And, okay, obsession, ungrounded. So sometimes when we let go of obsessions, we can find ourselves sort of flapping in the breeze. When we've had something that has consumed us for a long, long time, one of the difficulties in letting go is that our entire lives have been built around this dynamic, this relationship. And so we can feel incredibly ungrounded. Dedication, understanding. I'm just going to read the keywords that come with these. Oh, okay, the white snake. Good turns are rewarded, sacrifice is rewarded, boldness is rewarded. There's that Queen of Wands. No excuses can be made when we are confronted by the truth. The humblest creatures have so much to offer. All creatures are sentient, love animals, to know, to understand, to have wisdom. Let's look at ungrounded is the Light Princess. Love is death. Oh, death alone from death can save. Love is death, and so is brave. Love can fill the deepest grave. Love loves on beneath the wave. I gotta read these stories. It is time to ground. You must take steps to reconnect, come down to earth. Escapism is making you ineffective. That can be one of the things we're obsessed with, is escaping the things that hurt. Fantasy without grounding can become cruelty. The need to be serious, considering yourself invulnerable or immune, minimizing issues which need attention. Spiritual laws, emotional depth, denial of gravity, ungrounded. So this obsession here has taken us to the point where we are divorced from ourselves. Okay? Over here, we have to be dedicated to understanding what's going on, to understanding our part in the world. Let's look at Bluebeard. Family protection, discovery of secrets, curiosity which cannot be stifled. So what was that thing about confession? Letting our secrets out. Hidden truths, forbidden topics, places and people, inappropriate punishment. You have discovered an awful truth. Secrets can no longer be kept. There's protection and defense for you. Listen to family who loves you. They see what you cannot. All right. So we do need to think about who we can open up to. Who do we trust in our lives? Do we have someone that we can trust? And if we don't really, do you trust yourself? Do you trust Goddess? Do you trust the things you believe in? And maybe just working with those things and coming out and being truthful with yourself, confessions to yourself. There was one of my core issues in therapy that I was writing about in my journal, and I didn't even like name it in my journal because there was so much shame with it. But boy, I went to therapy and squeezed the words out of my mouth, you know, and poof, there it goes. So, and that just kind of flew away. So, looking at situations that you can open up in, a way to relieve yourself of the burden of weighty thoughts of guilt and remorse, a way to relieve yourself of, when you put those things out there and there's someone that says, you know what, I still love you, you're still lovable, I'm sorry that you went through that, I'm sorry that your trauma, made you do that, it's okay, you're not the worst person on the planet. When you can let those things out that are causing you so much anxiety, sometimes anxiety is just a buildup of all this stuff that needs to come out. And we can, it can look like it's taboo to tell people about your deepest, darkest secrets, but you have to find the safe person, a safe place to do this. Because otherwise they just become obsessive thoughts that spin round and round, and you can become terribly ungrounded from that. So this too can talk about connecting with other beings, connecting with animals, connecting with your spirits, connecting with new people, friendships, where you can be understood and you can bring out like the taboo parts of yourself. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I got to go back. I got to go back. Robin. Hi, Robin's Reflections. I haven't been looking at messages. Okay. Wow, you guys have been active here. Keep the order on the emotions of the King of Cups. Not only the mind. Yep. Okay. Sit with your emotions. I saw that. Okay. Big eyes. Maruda says, that happens to me with decks. They look so good when people are talking about them. So I've learned to just put it in my cart. Yes, I do the same thing. That's why I have a wish list. And by the way, if you want to buy me a deck, look down on that wish list, buy me one, and I will read for you when I do an unboxing video. There's the sales pitch. Okay, can't wear red shoes or boots. I will surely trip. Wow. Yes, Bowie, put on your red shoes and dance the blues. It is hard to hear yourself. Weird. Oh, that's an excellent observation, Robin, that we are not taught to listen to ourselves. And I'll tell you what is another good exercise, because unless you're a person that records frequently, your voice can sound foreign to you on a recording. It's because you're hearing it from outside rather than from in your head. And we can just like have a terrible reaction to that. Ooh, it doesn't sound like me. Listen to your own voice. Record your own voice so that you can listen to it. That's you, and that's how everybody else hears you. And you need to befriend that voice and let that voice in and listen to that voice. So yes, Robin, I second, third, and fourth that observation there, that we have to listen to ourselves. And that comes, that means your intuition as well, when you've got feelings coming up and you're tempted to ignore them. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Changes at work, I've been stewing in the negative. Oh, wow. I'm so glad, Laura. I am so glad. Yeah. Good. I'm so glad, Samantha. It's times when sometimes I just sort of feel lost and I feel like, I'm not really connecting, but thank you so much. I need that validation.
I mean, I carry on without it, but it really counts. Thank you so much. Update your resume, Laura in Florida. Like a suit without a mannequin. Oh my gosh, what's that one about? What's a suit without a mannequin? I love that idea. The self-sacrifice reminder is always good to hear. Yes. And I mean, we've had that message over and over and over again from the very beginning that we really can't be rescuers. We have to set boundaries, you know, and the first person that we help is right here. Help this person. Sometimes maybe if you're being really hard on yourself, sit down and, as Robin said, put out onto paper or into a recorder or something all the things that you need to get out. And then imagine that that's a different person, that there's someone that's very beloved to you, a good friend, you know, a family member, somebody that you whose happiness you really care about. And listen to your own voice as if it's that person, as if this is the person that you love most in your life. Listen to that person. And when you hear what she's saying, what will you do? Will you help that person? What will you do for her? Okay, let's see here. A little spooky. I like to hear that too. Yes, Samantha, I agree. Updating your resume is a reminder of here are the things you've accomplished. That's always a good thing to do. That message is also for someone else in here that needs to update their resume so they can understand how much they are actually doing. Okay, thank you, Samantha. And Maruda's new sweetheart is so good for them. So happy for you. Just thinking the same thing, reviewing, rewriting. Yay! See, I love this because it's not just me doing readings here. We are a circle. This is a circle. This is the, you know, a virtual coven. We sit here, and the connection that we make with each other when we expand out and connect up our circles, the messages come through all of us, not just me. And yes, please hit that like button. Thank you for that too, Samantha. I love you, honey. I love you, Sam, so much. When you lose your object of obsession, your life is like a suit with... Okay, I get it. I like that a lot. Oh, well, yeah, you gotta grieve. You gotta grieve and keep saying to yourself, this or something better is now coming to me easily and effortlessly. This or something better is now coming to me easily and effortlessly. This or something better is now coming to me easily and effortlessly. So motivated. Okay, you guys, wow, we're past 2 hours. All right, let's close this up. So come on back to, whoops, no. Come on back down into your body, feel your skin. Feel that connection to the earth, and one last time, send down to the earth or just let gravity pull out anything that is too dense for you to carry right now. And with it, we return all the earth energy that we do not need to keep in our bodies, of course, keeping everything that we need. And what we return to the earth, we return with our gratitude and our blessings for her continued healing and abundance and balancing, that she may be able to balance all of the things that we've put out of balance. And then reaching up to the cosmos in gratitude, sending out our prayers, our love, our highest essence. And of course, knowing that connection is never severed between this seemingly separate person and all that is. We say thank you to our guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, gods and goddesses for being with us every moment of every day. I cannot express my gratitude even though I try. It's there. They feel what's in my heart. So with gratitude to all of you who helped bring these messages through tonight. Thank you so much for for this cooperation, for this magic doing. And we can pull in the parts of our circle that we need to pull into ourselves. Of course, we keep our shields and our boundaries around us at all times, but let's have a nice exhale and a nice deep breath. And now as you exhale, let it all dissolve. Everything dissolves. Everything that you need to keep is part of your subconscious. It is with you at all times. We're always connected with each other. I'm so grateful for you guys. So very grateful. If you have received messages that really are valuable to you tonight, please look at the links below that you can, send me a couple bucks. It all goes towards buying more decks, which keeps the channel rolling. I don't make enough money to keep the lights on, as a lot of people say, but I do make enough to buy more decks. And that keeps the channel on. So I thank you in advance for being here and for everything you do. Let me finish up with the messages. And whenever two or more are gathered agreeing on something, it makes it happen for the highest good of all. Yes, yes, yes. Blessed be. Blessings to all of you wonderful people. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Robin, for being here. Tavia, Baby Joe, Maruda, Marcy, Beck, if you're still here, Robin, Catherine, anybody that I forgot, I hope I didn't forget anybody. Tavia, I think I said you. Thank you. Yay, straightens up the chat room. Thank you, dear, you're so sweet. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I love you all. I will see you next time. Till then, this is Luna. Blessed be.